Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lief's Lovely Lounge. We're here where we talk about things and all that stuff. I'm glad that you guys join us. Remember, we're on Spotify and on YouTube. On YouTube, if you'd like to support the podcast, you can click join underneath. And join, it's the same as Twitch subscriptions. You'll get some emotes and access to these the second that they're done. I'm going to have this edited and up a whole week for you guys to view before it actually goes live to the public. But if you can't do that and you just like to watch when it goes public, thank you still. I appreciate the support. Leave some comments below on what you think on the episode. Get in the discussion. I go down there and I read everything afterwards and, well, forever. I'm lonely. I like to see your messages. Anyways, let's get to the guest today. Oh, my God. It's Sam Superstar, Mr. Chamako. Where is he, though? I see his room, but he's not here. Are you here? Hello?
Can you? Hello? Hello?
Where? Hello, Chamako? I hear you in the ether. There he is. Hey! Oh, my God. Out of nowhere, he's a ghost. You were saying it before. You're like, man, this feels like such an RLCS bit.
Yeah, it does. It does. Even in Gamers 8, which was the last time we worked together, there were some bits that it was like out of nowhere. We were just joking around, and I'm saying silly stuff, and then you find it funny, and it's like, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. We go to cameras, we'll roll it. I remember the thing. I think it was with Hercules at the end, like. She was messing around and saying, like, I got everything right, I'm the best, and like, yeah, we should worship you, right? And let's do it. So we were like, bowing down.
Yeah, that's the fun stuff. I mean, it's we're actors, We just
entertainers, at least. I don't know actors, but entertainers. Yeah.
Well, hey, we got to relive the moment, We got to. Yeah, I think it's fun. I mean, like that's the stuff I like is to make things feel, and that's why I started the podcast, is to make things feel more just kind of natural if you can. We don't rehearse this bit. You got this line. You got this line. I think you can a little bit, but like let's have fun on camera, right? We don't have to be strict. Here's the show today. This is what we're doing, and I find that sometimes we get stuck in that. I mean, for a long time, especially on the North American broadcasts, that happened quite a bit. European broadcasts, we're trying to change that a lot now. I find just being people is better.
You got a crew that is very good for that. You have which we've already said. You like those spicy things. You keep things under control. You're like, if timer is going on, you will let us know. But at the same time, keep doing your thing. It's fine.
Those EU guys are very hard to wrangle, though.
But you get Stumpy who loves to do that as well. And I think Lemon is with you guys on EU, right?
No, she's on. Yeah, we got Herc on EU.
Didn't you have both Canadians at a time together?
But probably at some point. Yeah, like not this season, but maybe the one just before that. I think maybe. She's been bouncing around, right? So I couldn't remember exact broadcasts. If we looked at Liquipedia, I'm sure.
She's great at desk. I feel like if you allow her to be, herself, she can be very, very witty and funny as well. Anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's a spicy one too. A lot of her comments are not broadcast friendly. She's great. It's the same. Oh, it's the same as Gibbs though. People are very surprised when they hear Gibbs. Some of the things Gibbs says off camera.
Well, I think they will get surprised by many other people that are not part of the broadcast team then as well. But yeah, we're not talking about them.
People get surprised when they come to my stream, and the first thing they comment is just hear me going, "Oh fuck!" They're just like, "Wait, what? You swear?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I swear. I'm a human."
Canadian says,
Canadian is a big
like
thing.
Every 4 words. So let's go.
That's really what it is, man. You should hang around my family sometime. On my dad's side, yeah, it's crazy. I want to talk about you right now though, because it's been like, I mean, you've had to deal with the esports winter as well. Things have been tumultuous. Things have been all over the place. I see you're still getting involved here and there where you can in Sam. I think you're which team you did some casting for?
It was Gamer Legion.
Right, Gamer Legion. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's cool to see you getting involved, but it must be hard because for you, like, talk to me your journey, because you still, before Blast took over, we're still getting involved. I mean, you'd be at our live events, working different positions. Talk to me about your journey, man, because it's like, from your perspective, has it sucked? Like, what's esports been for you for the past, year or so?
So, I mean, from the get-go, let me make this clear. I knew that my position as a caster for South America was very niche, and it wouldn't last very long. I was aware of that. As soon as we had Rocket League Sam kind of broadcast, then I said, okay, this is over for me. They're going to get one of the Brazilian guys. They're going to fly them over, and that's going to be the face for South America if they need someone, right? The thing is, they didn't stay with a South American caster kind of vibe. They decided, okay, we don't need that, which is fine. It's their decision. But I knew that my stay wouldn't be very long. Now I was able to make some connections with the people that were running ROCS before, and they they brought me for some other duties on site, which I appreciate a lot. Whenever there was a need for a caster or something to fill in, then I would do it as well. The translations and that part was fun as well. So they kept me on board, and they were we made it work. After that, when Blast came over, I said, okay, that's over. That's over for me. I don't know anyone in Blast, so they probably have their people, that they're probably going to do things a little bit different. I knew that we were having budget cuts, so they were not going to be as accommodating with me. They will find ways to make it cheaper. And last major, we saw it, that they had Bran being the one translating for complexity. No problem with that. Love the guy. So, I mean, best for him always. But it could have been me in other situations. We could have made it work. It wasn't the case. So, yeah, it's been tough. So, I've been transitioning now. I knew that was going to happen eventually. So, I've been trying to transition and get to something else other than RLCS, because, I mean, to be honest with you, we saw Jby going out. I mean, I wasn't expecting that ever.
Right.
So there's very little to no chance for me to being back on a regular basis over there. So I gotta spread out and try something else.
Yeah, my hopes is that they can grow it. I mean, you saw it's a 4-year contract with Blast, right? So they're in it for the long haul. This isn't like, okay, all of a sudden they're forgetting about it. And I will say the good thing, and to anyone else that's still doubting, you probably heard this from a lot of people, is that we're seeing good things. Blast is listening. They're very much willing to make a lot of changes and very fast, too. I mean, even on the competitive side, when it came to not bringing out teams early, there was a few other things, too. Now, you already see format changes going forward for the rest of the season. Like, mid-season format changes is a pretty big thing, right? Like, it's not often you would ever see that. And then even on the talent side, we see them listening to us about content, trying new things. And when it comes to set design, I mean, you guys saw the stadium, like what they did with that small space. It was very nice. So I'm hoping, and from my understanding, it really sounds like they want to grow it. And I'm really hoping, just from my own selfishness, that you guys somehow eventually find a spot back into it, because I think that's something unique we have in our esport, is that all of us are still while we're not hanging out every day, we're still relatively close to each other. Like we still chat, we still hang out. I mean, you're always swinging by chats. I'm glad now I can finally get you on here to do this. Like, I just love being able to still talk to all of you guys, and we've always had good rapport amongst all of the talent that's ever been involved. So for me, selfishly, I want all of my friends to still be involved in the future.
I see what you're saying. I'm not gonna be as hopeful as you are. I mean, I'm not complaining about Blast by any means. I personally felt
no. It's yeah. I thought I was gone. I genuinely thought there were, like, because I knew it too, budget cuts. Like, if we're going down to like one host, it's going to be Wave Punk, right? Like, you just. I'm not at the top of a lot of the lists. My brand isn't as strong, and my skills not as good. So I thought I was gone too.
I differ on that one, but your skills are really good.
Okay, well,
but your brand. I mean, definitely Wavepunk is a little bit higher, but
yes, for sure.
A little bit.
It's the reality of it.
Understatement.
Yeah. No, it's the reality of it. It's in the way. Sometimes it comes just down to voice too. I mean, some people just have a certain timbre that that works for this kind of stuff. You know,
I agree.
Yeah. So I thought I was gone too. Basically, so I understand the feeling. Like I was already at Worlds. I was taking it in like this is my last one. You know, so from what you're saying, I understand that perspective of like we knew it was coming. We knew this was happening, right? And it's no fault of, as we said, Blast. It's just this was the inevitability.
It was a big roster. It was, and you look at other esports, they don't have such a big roster of talent. They work the same people over and over a lot. Luckily for Rocket League, I think that one of the things that allows the roster to stay big is that when we have majors, we do 2 streams. So you get to have people in both of them for the first 2 days or so. So that helps a little bit because you don't want to be understaffed quite a bit, looking out of nowhere for people. But at the same time, it was a big roster, so I felt that it was going to happen sooner or later. You were going to have some people caught. Sadly, yes, but it was reality. And right now, I don't think. I mean, for this year, for this year specifically, I don't think Blast will have everyone back for the big one show. That's not what I think. Maybe for next next seasons, I should say.
Yeah.
Maybe yes, but right now, I mean, it is what's going on.
And again, there are signs again that they want to. I mean, you even see like T-Bates got brought on now, right? Yeah. Like, and he wasn't in that initial. Here's our 2024 season roster. So that in itself should show you, okay, they're willing. It's not like they don't want to. But you're right. I think you're absolutely right. This isn't going to be if they want everyone, let's do it this year. It will be they have 4 years to do this.
Yeah, I think that talks more about T-Bates being such a good personality right now.
Especially on a live environment.
Exactly. In a live environment, he's able to work the crowd very well. Even being distant from the crowd, he's able to do so. Because at Worlds, the whole desk was kind of not on the arena, you know, so he couldn't get the feedback right away from the people. And still he was able to, you know, play the people very well. So I think that's a big testament for how good he is. As a fact, I was at CRL Worlds last year. I was working that event as player manager, and the other guy that was with me, he wasn't an RL guy. He didn't watch Rocket League at all, and he was telling me that guy, and he was saying Bates. It will be so good to have a person like him on CS:GO, on CS at desk, that personality, what he brings to the table. So I mean, even people from other esports are looking at him and saying, "Hey, I mean, that guy has something. It's unique."
And this is what's so cool is I can look at every single one of our talent that's been on and be like, this is why this person's good. And I think we have such a talented roster. I mean, you're seeing that gaze from other esports on not just Bates too, but like someone like Stacks, right? We have such incredibly talented people on our broadcast.
Stacks, the first time he came into the show, into RLCS, I think was the first time I was in the show as well. It was New Jersey. And he was just introducing the finals. I think that's it. That's what they brought him to do. So they recognized his voice from early on. Like yes, Stacks. I mean, you have this unique voice and unique power. Now he has always had that voice. However, the writing, because people might think that someone is writing that for him. No.
No, he does it himself. Yeah.
He sits there. He spends quite a not a lot of amount of time, but he sits through it and thinks about it, and he writes what he want to say, and then he might ask a few people like, hey, I want to go this way, so how do I actually make it work? Yep. That's not very often, but he sometimes do it, and then delivery. The delivery is so great. I mean, and it shows because people outside of Rocket League are actually getting Stacks to do that in some other esports.
It's him and Wave too. Oftentimes are working together to figure out. I mean. So we got the sequences of like what so Blast, especially with Johan. God bless. Thank you so much that I'm so happy we got Johan back. He was our producer before, and Johan is that pivot point. Like he is where everything comes together that then goes out to you guys. And he's so good at adapting and bouncing off of us and creating. So I'm so happy we got him back with Blast. That was our one thing. We're like, we need Johan. If everything is changing, we at least need Johan.
Wow.
Yeah. So we got Johan, and anyways, Johan got us early. Like they build out the camera sequence and everything in an engine and say, this is what the stage is going to look like, a render. Here's what the camera moves are going to look like with the music. And they get that over even before we flew out, I believe. We had that to Wavepunk and Stax so that they could start working on their timings ahead of time, because this stuff is so important, just in general, but to them too, that they get these timings on point. They want these things to sound the best they can because they care about it. They don't just wing it when they go in there.
No.
They are making sure that this sounds the coolest that it can to you guys.
Yep, it's very much like a stand-up comedy. You gotta have the timing right or the punchline.
Yep.
Otherwise, it doesn't work. If you go ahead of time, it's like a very missed, and people will notice. It's not gonna be as hype as it could be. So yeah, Stack's a big thing, and you mentioned Wavepunk as well. Wave has a very cool way of working with his voice, for some of these situations as well.
Yeah.
So,
well, he's a musician, so he understands it intimately, his voice as an instrument. Yep. I do not. I wish I wish I could I wish I was a musician. It's so funny because like I can when it comes to singing, this is kind of digressing a bit, but when it comes to singing, I can tell when I'm missing a note. Like I can hear it, right? Like I can hear the frequencies, how they wobble and don't wobble when I'm hitting things. But I can't get my voice to go where it needs to go right out off the bat. If I try to hit a note, I want to hit like, I'll start going, and then go there. I'm like, okay, now I'm there, but I can't go there right away. And it's so infuriating to not be able to use this thing that precisely.
That's what I was saying. It is a muscle, and you got to work it, and you got to practice. So I'm guessing you can do it for a few things, not for singing basically. But you were casting a lot when we started Rocket League, so you know how to modulate your voice to put some hype and excitement in there as well. Yeah. But singing is a different beast. But I can't sing to save my life. Can't.
Yeah, correct. Hey, let's start a band. You and me.
Yeah. It's gonna be
the
no singing band.
The half tones.
The half tones.
Yeah, the two of us together will make one tone.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, well that'll be one of our projects after here. So you were talking about just like looking to other stuff. Then I mean, like what does that look like for you? I mean, give us a walkthrough. What are the passions of Mr. Chamako and outside of this kind of world, or is it still staying in esports? Are you trying to go away? Okay.
Yeah, I actually quit my job. We moved, and I was working with the federal government in the U.S. Agriculture-wise, and I said I had enough. Let's try esports. Let's try something here. Then Blast took over, and I was like, that was not a good decision. Anyway, but right now I'm looking more at high school and college esports. I think that's more sustainable.
Nice, yeah.
There's more going on all the time. So
yeah, I just started doing collegiate stuff with my local college, and it's every day of the week I've got work.
Yeah, so the thing is, you gotta expand. It can't be just Rocket League, and that's it. And my problem is, and this is a big problem, I don't like everything. Like there's some people that
most people don't like everything.
but hear me out. If there's a big esport out there, they're gonna enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's mainstream enough, they will be kind of into it, right? I'm not.
To a degree, it's like I don't care about League of Legends at all.
Okay, so if I give you a number of titles like Valorant, Overwatch, Smash, Rocket League, Madden, Halo, Call of Duty, what else is out there in college right now?
I mean, did you say Overwatch?
I did say Overwatch. Street Fighter as well, maybe. Do you don't like any of these, or you don't want to?
I guess it's less that I dislike things. It's just that I have less affinity towards caring about what happens in them. The ones so at my local college, I've been having to cast for Valorant, Rocket League, CSGO or CS2, Call of Duty, and then I skipped out on League of Legends because I told them I'm not even going to try and learn because I've played like 10 games my entire life. I don't know anything about this.
There's 100+ characters. I'm not gonna learn them all. Okay, bye.
No. And the history too of like what meta shifts these characters have gone through, patches and nerfs and buffs. It's like there is no point in starting now, because if I start now, I might be ready in 3 years, in which time I'm having to go back through the backlog and keep up with what's going forward. So I'm like, it's not even worth. So we just get student casters that know the game to do. I'm like, I'm not even going to try.
Well, you can coach them if needed. Like you can give them like, hey, this didn't sound right. I mean, what were you trying to do here? Okay, you were trying to do that. Maybe do it in this other way, right? And
yeah.
If needed, you could be that guy, but you don't have to be the one casting League of Legends.
You can guide, like, I mean, being a mentor or being just someone to keep people on track, a manager, that's different. Those are different skill sets that can be applied a lot more widely than casting, or I guess, like, again, specifically coaching for that game. But again, being a mentor for the squad is something more akin to, it was what I would call, hey, are you sure you're trying the right thing here? Can I prompt you to try something else? I don't know what it is, but let's try something else. That's more the mentor role, which again, as I said, has a skill set that's applicable along a wider array of esports. Like, you don't just have to be super knowledgeable in one.
Even in sports.
But to answer the question, while I do understand Valorant better, it's still not as intriguing to me. I'd rather watch CS2, but I do like CS2. I'm actually really enjoying Call of Duty. I think it's skill-wise not, the highest level skill ceiling out of all the esports, but it's still very enjoyable to watch and be involved in. Rocket League, obviously, I enjoy. And again, League, I don't really care. It's the Riot stuff, it seems that I really don't care about.
Yeah, it seems like it. I have a similar issue with Valorant. It's not my cup of tea. And I think it's one of those titles that is very lucky to have such a huge player base, because otherwise it will be kind of difficult to understand. If you're watching it for the first time and you're watching, okay, so this many smokes in there and all these abilities and what's going on.
It's the same problem with Overwatch.
I think it's even worse with Valorant, because they have to obtain the skills in a different way. Like, Overwatch is cooldowns and that's it. It's going on. But to have this guy that didn't have his ult, and then all of a sudden, he got 2 kills and now he can use it, and where did that came from? And you gotta dwell into it a little bit longer. So I enjoy it a little bit more now that I'm into it. Like, I've been forced to cast it, but in the beginning it was like, no, man, I don't even want to play this at all. It's like,
yeah. I heavily, when I was casting, I was heavily relying on my CS2 knowledge, because I mean, foundationally that's what kind of game it is. Yeah. It's just with abilities. My issue, the reason I equate it to Overwatch, is it's just particle effect vomit is essentially what I call it, right? It's just, there's so many things on screen at once that when a fight happens, like the smokes and stuff, because it's not smoke, it's just a texture. Like, it's got a texture, but it's like it's just a circle, perfectly smooth circle. You're like, it looks like they didn't finish the game, and it's just not visually attractive to me. While also being a mess of stuff on screen, that it becomes it was just difficult to watch. I'm like, grandma's not going to watch this, right? No. Like, this is not an esports that has a cap of audience it can reach.
It's player base. You're not going to get anyone outside the player base to actually. I mean, you can get someone that played CS at some point, and then
you'll get a couple, but it's not going to be a significant portion.
But that's it. Overwatch, I feel the same way for the most part. But I gotta say, those team battles in Overwatch can be very hype. Can be super enjoyable. That's the only thing that is super good about Overwatch.
Right.
You get a 5-on-5 over there, surviving, and then spawning back and trying to come back, and defending at that point. Getting the cargo to not move at the end, and just trying to run down the clock and go overtime, and that part to me is enjoyable, but it's a mess. I agree with you.
If you guys are at home, if you guys are listening and you're driving right now, so don't do this. Keep your eyes on the road. But because I know some of you listen while you're in the cars. But if you are at home and you have YouTube open, go to the comments. Let me know. Do you watch any esports that you don't play or aren't involved in? Like because I guess for me, I do play a little bit of CS, but like I haven't in a while. But I do watch CS from time to time. So I'm curious if anybody else watches stuff that they don't actively play or haven't played before. And if you're on Spotify, you can click on the Q&A and just what do you think about the episode? Answer there if you want, if you don't want to go to YouTube. Yeah, what are you saying?
Yeah, in my case, it's Street Fighter. I don't play Street Fighter at all.
Okay,
I can watch it. But I did play Street Fighter when I was younger. So
you at least have a little bit of understanding of it.
Well, but the characters have changed so much.
That's true. And the games do change. Yeah. What's one game I enjoyed watching that I didn't play was Blaze Blue. If we're keeping on FGC, it's a fighting. It's an anime fighter.
It is. Okay.
Blaze Blue. I just thought it was. I understood what was happening. I mean, it's a fighter. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah. But it was beautiful. I was like, this is enjoy. Like the animations were just so fun to watch that I just visually got to turn off everything else in my brain and say, this is cool. So that was one that I did watch that I didn't really have any experience in. It's much like, I'm not to the same degree, but it's like Jby with ADHD, where I'm very passion led, right? Like it's what is the flavor of passion right now? That's the thing I'm into. So it's very hard for me to get into things that I'm not immediately passionate about, right? Like if I again, it was hard at the beginning where like you have to cast Valorant in that, and I'm like, okay. Do it because you're paying me. And now that I'm like, I see it more, it's easier to get into. And I think the thing that I really enjoy about esports is stories of people. These are people trying to work towards something. So I get to see these collegiate students trying to work towards something. I talk to them before their games and say, what's the goal for today? Have you been working on anything? And they'll say, yeah, we've been trying this, working on this map, working on this strat. And it's fun to see that progression over time. These are people's stories that I get to witness just in form of a video game and see their achievements. So that's what I latch on to when I watch esports. Is less about, who is this meta being pushed on this character? Is this person achieving the thing that they wanted to achieve?
Yeah, and the way it's set up right now where I'm working is that they have different conferences throughout the state. So the players are, the conferences are not playing against each other. They're playing within the conference. Okay. So whenever they go to the regionals, then you're gonna see these storylines. Okay, we have seen this team, how good it is. So far dominating X or Y. Do they have a chance against this other team? That has been dominating as well. So you want to see the clash. It's building up for that clash eventually, which is something. To be honest with you, I think is lacking on RLCS right now. Because we have seen EU play within each other the whole time, and those are the best teams. Right. So, I felt like we had majors too continuously, too often, where you will see those matchups, quite a few times within the year, and I want to see them only once. I want to build up the whole thing for it to be once, and that's it. You don't have any other chance. It's that time, and that's it. But yeah, I agree with you. Storylines, and whenever you have that opportunity to write the storyline and picture it in front of everyone, that's the best feeling. It doesn't have to be great gameplay. I mean, you don't want to see super bad gameplay, but it doesn't have to be the highest level gameplay. It just has to be
as long as the
entertaining, good enough. And then if they're even on the matchup, boom, you got fireworks.
Oh, dude, I don't even care. It's like if I'm watching a lobby of gold Rocket League players, as long as everyone is at the same level, it's fun. It's entertaining to me because you're like, oh, these guys, for them, this is the sweatiest match they've ever played. Like they're in grand finals. It's all golds. They get to be the best out of everyone in this tournament. That's cool. Like that's a fun story. I get goosebumps even thinking about that. It's a human story, and you know the person holding that controller, this means everything in that moment to them. And in a world where everything can be taken away from you all at once, having those moments of like, this is all that matters in life right now, that's what I latch on to. And I think that's why being able to do commentary is so important to me. I've never been able to vocalize it like that before, but I think that's why, is I get to see those human stories played out in front of me.
And that's why we do have a work. We have a job, because otherwise, I mean, you can watch the Golds play over there. It's not going to be as exciting. I mean, especially when you have Golds, for example. I mean, you give the example, right? You're going to see them whiffing a lot. It's going to happen. They're going aerial and they're going to miss the ball and they're not going to hit it. But when it's the last moment and they actually manage to hit it, you're going bonkers because, they got it. You know, they made a passing play or something. The same thing on Valorant or CS. If they're not, they don't have the best aim ever. But then all of a sudden they get a triple, they get an ace or something like that. You know, they clutch it. What is going on? You know, ice in the veins or whatever. You can make so many comments. You can celebrate that moment so much better. Because you're watching the whole story and you know that wasn't on the script. You know, it wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why, because initially I thought, I'm like, if I'm casting something that's not as, you know, it's not the RLCS and I'm going crazy over, are people, I always thought, are people going to watch me and be like, oh, why is he going so hard over something like this? And does it diminish my, what they think about me when I go hard during like pro play and like, oh, well, he does this for everything. It's not that important. You know, I always thought about that. And then I realized, no, this can be exciting. Actually, you know what's speaking of Jby, he's one of my favorites for this, because you go on to his stream. By the way, if you're not supporting Jby on his stream, go to Jby PLS. It's Jby, please. Yeah, on Twitch. Is it just Jby now?
I can check while you say it. Yeah, go ahead.
Go find it while it's, But go to his Twitch channel, guys, and watch. He does tournaments where he casts you guys. You can go to his Discord. He sets up these the lobbies where everyone gets to play, and he casts over you guys. And he goes hard the whole time. He's doing what he's doing in the RLCS, and I see him do this, and I'm like, you know what? I can go hard for anybody, and it's not gonna diminish anything. It's just gonna be like, yep, you're a great commentator because you go hard, you know. So I think you can go hard for anything as long as it's sick.
It is Jby PLS. Yeah, it is indeed.
It is okay.
Yeah, Jby PLS. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with that. And I mean, I've been saying for a long time that casting RLCS is not as hard as casting a kind of mediocre match in sense.
Sure.
Because in RLCS, everything is good.
The game writes, the commentary writes itself.
You can be hyped the whole time because it's gonna be that, you know, you have a reason to be so. But doing, you know, let's go to the golds or diamonds, and you're watching that gameplay, you're gonna find a lot of mistakes. It's going to happen. It's bound to happen, either technically or strategy wise. They're gonna make a lot of mistakes, so you gotta be very careful because you don't want to be pounding on them the whole time, like, man, this guy is so bad.
He should have been done that.
Yeah. I don't want to ever do that. That's why I'm gonna bring this up here. When you guys did the like kind of the not top 10 in RLCS, right? I didn't like it. Didn't sit right with me because in my mindset, these are kids, and I want to be, elevating them the whole time, never pounding them down. Yes, they're gonna make mistakes, and I'm gonna talk about those mistakes every now and then. It's fair, but with the golds and the diamonds and plats and all those champs, I don't want to be talking about the mistakes the whole time because they're gonna happen, and then I'm gonna be just saying bad stuff about them the whole time. No, I wanna take those moments where they have brilliance. Yes, within their limitations, this is great because you're not expecting that. It wasn't supposed to happen. Or they actually were able to pull it off. Where you said you're gonna say in the chat, hey Chamako, I mean they do that on Auto CS the whole time. Yes, but this is not Auto CS, and you're not gonna watch that the whole time. So I'm gonna celebrate it now because it might be the only time where we watch it.
Which is why I focus two things. One, I wonder if that not top 10 would have played better if nameplates were taken off. Because then it's not about the players making mistakes. It's the banter of region versus region that becomes a thing. Rather than it being like, oh, look at Cheese missed the ball. Because unfortunately, a lot of Cheese's plays were in there. And it wasn't intentional, but it can almost look like it's targeted at that point. So I wonder if nameplates off could make that work, but that's something they just want to. Again, that was Stumpy and them. They wanted to, or who was it? It was a few of them. They just wanted to like. I didn't mind it because I'm like, let's try it. I mean, you never know if something works or doesn't work until you put it out there in the world. But yeah, I'm curious if that could have fixed it. The other thing, which to your point, this is why during collegiate stuff, our guys are for our Rocket League squad are I think they're all like low SSL, like just between the GC3 SSL line, and so they're not bad players by any means, but obviously they're not pros, right? They do make mistakes and they're not 100% cohesive. But at the beginning of the season, or partway, a couple weeks in, they wanted to try something new. The coach brought up, let's do this, let's try this, let's get more people involved. There was a very set way they played, but they wanted to mix that up and be more fluid and enabling each other to rotate better. And they so they started implementing it. And for me, that became the storyline. It's less that now I'm saying, oh, they should be doing this better. What I can say is, oh, they've been trying this new thing, and it looks like they're almost there. A couple more things to go, but this is their journey so far. They're so much further than they used to be, and we're seeing that progress. And now I can look at it in a positive light. Like, yeah, there's room to improve, but we've seen progress. In a few more weeks' time, they're going to be deadly with this new play style.
Yep.
And that becomes their story rather than, well, at the pro level, this is what they do. I focus on, no, this is what they're working on and the progress they've seen going forward. And that's what I try to use more in the play-by-play and less of like, oh, they missed the ball there. It's, oh, they've been trying something new, so they missed it there, but look, they recovered here, or they did, and that becomes the story.
Exactly. And one other thing is that I've been doing this season, the season for Rocket League for this organization starts in fall, and then finishes in spring. So the schedule of the players change. And in one semester, they might have a very open schedule where they can practice together, all three players, and have really good scrims. And then on the other one, they don't. So you can see those shifts in skill, because one semester they're doing really bad or really good, and then on the other one it's not the same. And then when you ask them, hey, we haven't been able to scream as much, we haven't had the time to play together, I've been swamped with midterms this week or whatever, something like that. So it really shows in the performance, and that's a really good story. That's something that usually you don't have at pro level, because these guys are living off Rocket League. Pros are playing this the whole time, that they can put 10 hours a day, and that's fine for the most part. Students are students. They have other priorities. So watching that,
well, school
that in mind
is their
first
and foremost priority, right? Like that is the education is the most important thing. We also see with this is like roster changes happen quite often too. I mean, someone graduates and all of a sudden you got a whole different squad. You have to now get adjusted. There's constant adaptation that needs to happen with it. I mean, we've seen it before in one of our teams where a player couldn't keep up their grades, so they had to be taken off the team. They have to maintain a certain level of I think it's 80. I think they require at least an 80 average for these players to stay on our esports teams. So the fact that our teams in our school are actually still pretty good, because that now changes the barrier, right, of the potential people. There could be a lot of better players, but they're sitting with a 60 average that they're not allowed on or something. Maybe it's 60. I don't know. I can't remember now. But all I know is they have to maintain a certain average, and they have to. They're also like our squad. They practice a lot. We have a facility, and they're in the facility a lot. Even on days they're not playing, our Rocket League squad is there almost every single day, just playing together with each other, which is cool to be able to have for these. I wish I had this stuff when I was in college. It's not fair.
We didn't have computers back when I was. No.
You have computer?
No,
you have the one that's behind you right now. That's what you had. That's great. Hey, you know what? Talk to me about this real quick. We're gonna pivot. What is going on with your background?
The 80s theme. You like it?
Yeah. It's gone back in time.
No, I had a green screen, so it was either have the green or had something. So I was looking into the things I have back in my OBS, and this is the only one I could find that is, I don't know.
Right.
Fine,
real quick. So for people that are just listening and not watching, he's got an 80s themed room, like an old tiny CRT behind him, like it's the all-in-one computers. You know what I'm talking about. It's nice. Yeah. So why this one?
It's got a floppy and everything in there. The thing is, with the Twitch community in Puerto Rico, we have this guy that's very out there. He's always thinking about doing different things, and one of the things he does is a wrestling with the streamers, with the community. So he will create the people, and he will give them funny names, like names that match whatever their Twitch name is in some way. It could rhyme, it could be something in that vein, and he will create them with like if you like Solid Snake, for example, that's your go-to thing. Your character will probably look like Solid Snake in some way, shape, or form, so something like that. So. And he cast the matches with someone else and do the show, and you if people want to, they can do promos and whatever. So I started doing promos, and I was kind of the heel guy, and then my character was like, hey, I'm super neutral. This is what things are. So I'm gonna be talking shit about the organization the whole time, but keeping it neutral, kind of thing.
Okay.
so they
neutral shit talking.
Yes.
Too.
It's always I'm gonna find the bad angle for everything. But I'm neutral, kind of, quote unquote. So,
I see. Everybody gets hit.
Yes. Well, no, I'm just saying I'm neutral. I'm just saying I'm gonna find something that proves that I'm right, and just show that part, and that's it.
Okay.
And that's how I justify that I'm neutral. So he did that. He does an 80s theme show every year. It's been years now he's doing this. So in order to have my segment of neutrality, of neutral analysis, then I have that computer back then, and it was so weird because he told me at the beginning, like he gives me some cues so I know what the show's gonna go by, what's gonna happen in the show. Not the outcomes, because you can't control the outcome. The way he does it is simulated. Everything is simulated. He will let the players.
What I'm curious. What is this? Is this like is this just like a D&D kind of campaign, or is it
No.
It's physical like video you're watching?
WWE 2K. He's using that game.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So he's created the characters over there, and then he's simulating all the matches. He's obviously, if you're gonna have a ladder match, then he will make ladder match between these two, but he will let them play out.
I see. This is cool. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. So you don't have any control over the characters in terms of performance. It's gonna do whatever,
right.
And that's gonna happen. The outcome is whatever. But he will give me some details. So he said, hey, one of the characters, he's gonna be fighting in a towel. So in a towel. Okay, let me see. So I got a robe, and I put one of those bathroom robes on me, and I was with the 80s theme, and I was talking like, hey, I'm sorry guys that you have to see not one but two people in robes, in towels here. This company, it's so bad, it's awful, it's the worst. So I apologize for every single one of you, and I always, that's my neutral take on the whole thing. So yeah,
that's fun. That's
super
cool.
fun. It's super fun to watch.
So this is why. All right, I like it. The things we get up to in our spare time.
Yeah. Well, I love it. I've always. I think my introduction into casting was wrestling, but back then.
So you were big into wrestling growing up too?
I was kind of big into it up until high school. Not because I didn't want to keep watching it. It was because it was conflicting with something else, so I couldn't follow the. It's a soap opera. At the end of the day, it's a story. Yeah. So you gotta keep with it. So I stopped watching, but I really enjoy the commentators in wrestling. I think we should be doing more of what they do. Like because right now it's very play-by-play and color, but our color is analysis, and that's it. But what you do on desk, I think we should do it on game as well.
Really interesting.
Be more. Say more jokes, laugh about it, and say something that it doesn't really have to do anything with the game at some point. Go that way. You don't want to do it for very long because the game is only 5 minutes. But at the same time, I think you should be able to do more like King Lawler. I don't know if you know the wrestling. It was Jim Ross.
Yeah, I know that.
Jerry Lawler.
Name though. Yeah.
So Jerry Lawler was very. Let's make a comment that doesn't have to do anything with the match. Sometimes,
Yeah.
And
I mean, I do that a lot, the collegiate stuff, because there's a little more freedom to do it there. Also, the Stumpy and Cole, I guess, might be a good example of this. There are times where they just go on a quick tangent. You're like, what are they talking about?
Yeah,
and then they'll come back to the game. Yeah,
I love it. I think it's fine. And color is not all about just being analysis. It could be anything. You're just painting. You're just giving something else. Something extra.
Right.
So if you can go on a little bit of a tangent because someone said something weird in the chat and you can use it, that's fine. Because you like whatever they're using on the car, and then that brings you a flashback from whenever you were 16 and you were doing this. Then that's fine too. You keep it short. I don't want you to be talking about that the whole time. You don't have a minute to do so. It's gonna be like 10 to 15 seconds and that's it, tops. But if you do so, it will. It's a roller coaster, right? That's what we're doing. It's highs and lows, but you don't have to be up and down, and that's it. You can go sideways as well on a roller coaster, right? And you can spin around. So you can do much more than just analysis and play-by-play.
Right. Yeah. It is harder, as you said, in Rocket League in a fast-paced game, because if you go on a tangent, you need to know when to bring it back, because it can't be. League of Legends, you might actually have 5 minutes where nothing happens that you can go on a fun little tangent, but in Rocket League, if you go off for 5 minutes, you've just missed the whole game. So it does have to be a very say this thing, what the heck, that's odd. Let me add on to it quick. Yeah, this is crazy. Let's get back to the game, right? So it definitely, it's a harder pacing to hit, I think, if you do want to go off, which is why I think some people might just be safe and not do that, and just stay on target. I do like that we're going more the hybrid route in terms of commentary, though, that any person can do either color or play-by-play. It's there are still some certain roles. I know more so in North America, but in Europe, it's very much either any of the commentator that's on right now will just switch to play-by-play if something crazy starts happening. I've always wanted that. Me and Lawler wanted that from the beginning because we used to cast online. You almost had to do hybrid in a case like that because it was a little more difficult to hand off, right? So something crazy happened. You didn't want to just stop talking. You needed to just talk about that moment. But then when we come into the RLCS, just to make it safe, Golden Boy wanted us to just do play-by-play in color. So I'm very happy we're going hybrid now because it also gives those opportunities that, again, if we want to go on a tangent, the person doing it can just kind of lead that and do that because you're more used to doing these back and forths that having a quick couple banter points back and forth before getting back on target feels more natural to do because you're both used to being able to talk whenever.
Yeah, you gotta be careful when you do it. I'm talking about people. I'm talking to people that work in low-level environments because if your partner is not able to catch on that, tangent and build upon it a little bit, kind of follow your flow, then it's going to be very awkward and it's not going to work out. But if you get someone on your side that can actually, work with it, then it's good. It's fine. Again, only maybe he's going to only laugh about it and say, yeah. I mean, whatever you say, and just follow. I mean, he acknowledged that you said something, but there's some people that they have to be very strict and it's going to be, no, I'm going back into the game. And then he killed the flow and that's it. One thing about the color, the hybrid is that I used to be a play-by-play mainly guy at the beginning, and then we talk about it and said, hey, let's do hybrid, and I felt like my co-casters, they were doing a lot of play-by-play instead of and no color at all. So I found myself being more of the color guy afterwards because I felt like some color was needed at points, but no one was talking about it. So it's completely changed my style when I started doing hybrid for some reason.
Well,
weird.
That almost happened to me at the end. I was doing play-by. I was very much play-by-play at the beginning, and I started ended up being put into a lot of color roles by the end of my casting, like up to season 6, because we just had so many play-by-play casters, and I started to trend because, while I'm a play-by-play, I'm like, I want more hybrid. I want to, or we're not talking about this enough. Let me get involved in the conversation with my color caster. Let's have a conversation. So they started to see that side of me, I think, and they're like, okay, well, let's give you some color roll. And I'm like, okay, well, I want both of us to talk about it, but I guess I'll take this. And so I started doing more, and I had to switch that as well. I've ended up doing every single role. Now, this is funny, the perspective, to preface this. There's two perspectives you can have when this happens. Is I've been put in every role now.
Yep.
Someone could take it like, oh, look at me. I'm, experienced in all of these things. Or you go the route my mind goes and say, oh, I suck at all of these, so they keep trying to find a new position for me.
Well, take into consideration that there have been some layoffs, and it's never you, okay? It's never you.
I think the hosting saved me. I think the European hosting saved me.
You're so good at interview as well. I really think so. So go ahead.
I was going to say that's the hard one though to understand, because I guess it's so natural to me that I'm like, well, this is easy. Everyone should be able to do this.
No.
So then I think that I'm like, I'm not because it's hard to see you from other people's perspective. It's a really difficult thing to do.
Gotcha. I think
right.
What makes you great at interviews is that you're able to keep it very light. It never feels like, hey, we're here, this is a very important interview and give me your important answer. No, you keep it very light. It's always like, hey, I'm kind of a peer, a fan. I'm here to enjoy this with you. So, talk me through it. And you understand the game very well. You know the storylines because you have seen it from the beginning. So you can ask meaningful questions, at times. It's not going to be meaningful every single time. I know sometimes it's weird. But the other thing is you're really good at catching up with whatever they say at a moment. You're not hard struck with hard stuck.
It's not a Q&A. Like, here's my list of questions.
You don't have your questions, and I got to say every single one of these questions. Right. It's like, hey, you talk about this. Okay, let's move on that. I found that interesting. So my next question is going to be about that thing that you said. So you're listening. You're actively listening to them, and you're using that to your advantage. So those are things that people don't get right away. But you have experience because, you've been doing this for so long. You have the podcast. You like conversations. You're trying to get those out of people like you're doing right now. So that's what makes you very good at interviewing. And don't see yourself as any less. I'm telling you, man.
I guess it's again, it's just hard when you just something is natural to. I bet you pros think that too. Like if you ask your pros like, why are you so good? They're gonna be like, I don't know. I just right. They don't know why. They just do. And there are still things I have to work on. Like it's not 100% natural. Like the major. I thought coming back to the major, I went in knowing okay, I just have to be confident in myself and in this thing. People enjoyed it. Let me trust them saying it and do it. There were still little bits of rust I need to shake off, and I have some things I want to do better at London. But I felt infinitely more comfortable at this last major in Copenhagen than I had ever before. Like I just felt like, okay, I got to trust myself, and I can trust myself. That was nice. But yeah, there's going to be those fine things that I do need to refine. And I was going to mention, maybe it's a problem that people are too comfortable answering me, because then we get people like Itachi saying the F word twice in an interview. And then Seiko right afterwards swearing in French.
I think that's a talk that they have to have before they get into the interview, right? Whoever they got player managers, right? So the player managers have to tell them, hey, don't swear on camera, okay? Yeah. It's fine that you do it because they swear a lot when they are in the matches, especially in those stages where there is no audience and they are face to face, basically playing against each other. You have three computers in this line, three computers on this line, and they're seeing each other. So they basically make a goal and they go off their seats and start screaming to the other guy.
What the fuck is up?
Yeah, they do. In every single language, in every single language.
I know the Sam guys really like to swear too.
Really bad. So that's fine at that stage. It's okay, cool. However, they are so well behaved in front of an audience. You've seen that?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you put him on the center of the stadium, of the stage, and it's like, yeah, I mean, we're gonna celebrate, fist bump. That's it. You know, let's go. No screaming now. Anyways, but they gotta be told that. You know, they gotta be told. It's not a you thing. I think it's more of a hey. I know your adrenaline is so high right now from the game. Control yourself a little bit.
That's what it is.
Yeah. It's
It's the good thing is that we do. So some people didn't realize that he had sworn because the broadcast is delayed. We actually have someone on censor duty that sits there and goes, "Oh, cut the audio, cut the audio out." Yep. So when it went out to the audience, the sound just cut out, and so people didn't realize that he had sworn right away. But maybe at the part where I'm like, I took the mic, I'm like, "Hey, calm down." I think that's when they realized, oh, he's swearing.
Yeah. It's a sentence enhancer, you know. It's
yeah. The problem is that our censor people aren't bilingual or multilingual, so they didn't catch Seiko. Seiko basically said vitality always fucks me in the ass is what he said, but he said it in French, so they didn't they didn't catch it.
A lot of those phrases might be like everyday use in some countries, so they don't think about it as well as a big deal. So that happens even in Spanish. Like we're talking the same Spanish, but in Spain it could be, you know, like, okay, I mean, we're gonna say that and it doesn't matter, and we actually broadcast that on TV and it's not a big deal.
Right.
Whereas you go to Mexico and you say that and it's like, I mean, you shouldn't be saying that on TV, you know. It's a cultural thing. Yeah, it's a cultural thing.
That leads into a whole discussion. That's a very difficult area. Is online changes the landscape quite significantly. I mean, going to just in general words, what some cultures accept and other cultures don't accept, is you even look at one of the gamer words, like the R word, right? Like this is a word that and I'm fairly certain you have just eliminated from our vocabulary and just don't use anymore because it just, there's other words to use, and it's like most of the people online, the online culture it's not okay to say. But you go in like where I live, we're nice Canadians, but where I live, that word is very common. My parents will say it. My friends will say it. Everybody uses it across the board. It's not like it's just been thrown around everywhere, but it's a common word that everyone here, when they hear it, doesn't think it's a bad thing, right? Like the culture here is that's not a bad word to say because it's never used to disparage a person, right? Like it's not used like, oh, this community sucks, let me use that word. It's always like, you know, the situation of like, oh, this situation is this, you know, this situation is this. And while we understand, you know, that word, there are some people that don't like it and it hurts them. So we just try not to use it. Yeah. In this area, nobody sees it as a bad thing. Yeah. And that's the hard thing with online culture in general is you're taking every culture from around the world. And now we have to find that middle ground where everybody is happy. And sometimes that's impossible because there are just two conflicting cultural ideologies that don't work together. It's not that either one is wrong. It's just that they don't work. Those communities are happy, but together they're not.
You got the online community guidelines, okay, guys? So please hear me out. You can't say this. You can't even use the word if you're referencing to it, okay? I mean, you're not saying the word to anyone. You're just making a reference to the word, but you can't use it. It's a no-no, okay, guys? Hear me out. You're going to be canceled. You're not going to be doing anything else. We're not going to hire you anymore, okay? So please follow the guidelines. It's ridiculous at points.
It's hard.
And sometimes the way that those words become it's something that you can't use at all. It's kind of why did we get to this point? Because it was never meant to be used this way, but you're making it seem like we are using it. So it's a weird. And then if you're like me that have that stance, it's even worse for you, right? Because if I'm gonna reference a word, I want to say the word. This is the word I'm using. And I want to do it kind of on purpose because I want to challenge things a little bit, you know, the status quo right now. I'm never going to use that word on someone, but if I'm going to talk about that word, I'm going to reference that word. And
I mean,
I'm going to get canceled for the bad.
part of communication is being able to get your ideas across. And if it's confusing to continually refer to something as the R word, this word, instead of just saying it, it's better to just say it, because the point of communication is to communicate, hey, I think this word is bad, and say it. And again, it's tough because I by no means am complaining that I can't use a certain word at all, right? Like I don't care. But there are people. Yeah. The problem is that even saying what you've just said can come up as, oh, he's defending the use of it, and he's like complaining he can't use it. Because there are people, I mean, there's 14-year-olds out there that do complain they can't use it simply because they want to use it. Some want to use it to hurt people. Some people are selfish about it and think, I should only be able to care about me. Why do I care about someone else if they have a problem with it? I try to find that middle ground, as I don't, that's not why I bring it up. But the problem is you get lumped in with that if it's mentioned at all. Even this discussion right now, there could be someone listening saying, oh, these two, they're complaining.
I'm getting canceled right now. I'm getting canceled, super canceled.
Right? Yeah,
no. But it's not about using the words. I actually, I don't want to use depreciating words on anyone. I don't want to be insulting anyone. That's not me.
If something hurts someone, I'm going to do my best to avoid it.
Yeah, and even if I want to insult someone, it's more interesting to insult them without bad words.
Yeah. Be creative.
No, this is my problem. This is a big problem right now, because there's a lot of people that you can't swear, you can't say this, but you can, however, insult anyone in any other way that is not using those words. And I'm like, that's worse. You're
directly attacking them now.
so you're fine with attacking people, but don't use these words. I'm like, man, what is that?
You're right. The ideology does feel a little hypocritical if someone shares, like if someone to say that. Now, if someone were to say you're not allowed to use that word and you're not allowed to insult people, well, that's consistent. That's at least you're consistent with your ideologies, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But you're right. If it's one of I have heard people do that where it's like they'll trash talk all day, but you can't say that. Yeah. But I agree that if you are going to trash talk someone, using a word as a cheapskate, it's a stupid way to just calling someone a name isn't creative. I want you to be creative. It's like in games when people just what a save all the time. It's like, come on, be creative, It's like I had a match the other day where a guy what a saved us, and I'm like, hey man, why are you being weird? This is weird. And my teammates started what a saving them back. I'm like, no, don't do that, man. Don't fall to, let's be creative. The opponent that would have saved us then said, all right, I stopped lagging. It's time to, you guys are about to get effed up. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. Now I have ammo against you because you claimed it was lag and you claim we're going to get effed up. So now I have a chance to be creative, Yeah. They still lost. We still stomped them. We still destroyed them. And by the end, I now can say, it seems like your internet didn't actually get better. Yeah. Because there's the implication that they still played bad. Right. And to me, that's a little more creative. It's the subtle jab of like, I didn't just say, hey, you suck. It's like, I implied you sucked still.
That's it. But now you have, you're going at it with something, with some ammo, and that should work. The thing is, I don't know if people actually realize what you're saying, Sometimes
that's the problem, but I don't care. I know what I'm saying.
Okay, that's fine. As long as it is some enjoyment for yourself, and that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, it's I know I'm being creative right now. I don't care if they don't get it.
Exactly. Okay, cool. If you're fine with it, then it works.
Yeah, and I've done that before, and there have been people that don't get it. And then they respond back in a way that's very clear they didn't get it, and I'm like, that's funny. They didn't get it. Let's go. Let's move on. And sometimes they do get it. Because they stopped talking. There's no response back. And I'm like, they got it. They know. My favorite one is that shuts people up a lot. And some people don't get it. Okay. What's the response? I'll have to think about what it is they say. I can't think of exactly their response. I know my answer back, but I forget what they say to set it up. I'll have to think about it. Either way. Be creative. If you're online and you want trash talk, just be creative with it, guys.
Now we're gonna get canceled. Now we're gonna get canceled because we're giving people ideas on how to insult other people.
Go out there and trash talk.
And this time around, if you cancel me for this, I'm fine with it. This time I'll take it. It's okay. Okay, I actually, gave you opportunities to be worse people. That's fine. And the previous one is like, no, that wasn't the case.
I grew up playing hockey. There was a lot of banter. We call it chirping. Mm-hmm. When you're just chirping like a bird, just chirping from the sidelines. Yeah. We chirped all the time, right? So it's just I like the back and forth. I like that. You don't just yell insults and then that's the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Come up with new, especially because when you're playing the same people over and over again, it just saying the same insult doesn't really have the same effect. So you come up with new ways to say the insult, and that's part of the fun. Is you can get the most creative with it.
The problem is that, not a problem. It's actually fun, but the thing is that you're playing with the same people over and over, and you're insulting each other often. So the insults, they keep escalating.
They escalate.
So at the end of the day, if you're new to the field, to the hockey field, it's like, should I be here? These guys are hardcore. I don't know. I might be on the wrong place right now.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you gotta graduate. You gotta watch and study first, and then come into That's really funny. Okay, well, now that you're canceled, let's talk about your deepest fears. What's your deepest fear out there? Like, what are you afraid of?
This might sound very dumb for some people, but one of the things I think about, I used to think about it more before, but not so much now. It's dying way late in my life, but earlier than my wife, and leave her alone when she's old.
I've thought about it too. Yeah.
Because if I die right now, she's young and she can do her life still,
right.
Probably, quite easily. But if it's like late on life, and I don't want to leave her alone. Like I don't want to.
Then she's alone for how long? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of harder to get on life with something else, and find
this is why people end up usually passing away within a year of their significant other when they're at older ages. Is just there's not much to fight for anymore, right?
Yeah. Right now, I don't have kids. I'm not gonna have any kids. That's
yeah.
We can probably.
It's a common trend.
Maybe adopt someone. Rent a kid.
Rent a kid. Why don't they have that? Because sometimes it's all right. Like I have a niece, and it's like every once in a while it'll be okay to deal with her, but like I don't want that all the time. And it'd be interesting if you could just be like, hey, do you need it's kind of babysitting, I guess.
Yeah.
Rent a kid.
But it's like getting a loan on a car.
Just Uber for kids. It's just
but it's kind of a lease because you're gonna have the kid, if you adopt them until 18, 20, and then they're gonna leave, and then they're gonna find their real parents and they're gonna forget about you.
Right.
No, that's not true. Anyway, I'm not gonna have any kids, and unless I adopt. So it's a possibility that when we're old, we're gonna be by ourselves, and that's it. Unless we actually make a really good friends, which we're not good at it. We're not great. We don't know that many people around. So that's one thing that's quite scary. And there's nothing. I am a believer that when I die, I die. That's it. There's no anything afterwards. So I'm not gonna be in heaven or something, worrying about her. That my worries will stop when I die. But it's something that if I know I'm on a stage that I will die earlier than her, that's gonna be something that so how do we work that situation out and get you somewhere? But it's gonna be a weird case because if she doesn't have anyone by that time, chances are that she won't, because she's gonna be probably taking care of me the whole time. So if I'm in terminal stage, so it's gonna be a tough one. So I think about that. That's a big fear. I also heights and deep waters are also big fears for me. Like because I don't have any control.
So you're really afraid of like wave punk and Stumpy. height.
Stumpy more so. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it was interesting because like I get a bit of vertigo and fear of heights, but I also did a lot of parkour growing up, and I think that's part of why I liked it was because like the adrenaline I got from it was fun, like jumping over a 6-foot gap where there's a 20-story drop, like that stuff was exciting, very stupid but very exciting.
I will be like Neo, just trying to jump and then and falling down. No.
I'll just on that way down. I really got to believe that I'm in the Matrix.
I went to this. It's like fine arts place in Mexico City, and they had like an orchestra over there, classical music. So we had to go all the way to the highest, the top seats on the place, and they were close to the ceiling, and I mean, I've been higher than that, I think, but just being close to the ceiling and then looking down on the orchestra gave me vertigo. So I was for the most part, looking up front and not being able to look down, and it was like me, checking with my brain, hey, I mean, it's fine, you're on the seat, you're not gonna fall down, it's safe, it's really safe here. Okay, so let me look down. Oh, okay, it's not working yet. A little bit more. Okay, let's focus here. Then after a few minutes, I was able to overcome it, but it took me a while. And that's the thing, that you can be so certain that you are safe. I mean, what else do I need? Like do I need a belt in my chest and be tied to the wall? No, I mean, I'm super safe there. Solid ground, everything is good. But my brain was like, nope.
Yep. No, do you do well on roller coasters and stuff then?
Awful. It's been a while since. It's been a while. I think I last tried when I was early 20s. I'm late 30s right now, just for reference. So
yeah.
So I did it back then, and the first time, to be honest, the first time I tried a roller coaster, it was the worst one in the park. Reason why? Because I'm an idiot. But I went straight into the final boss. So I did it, and I was so bad, so it didn't sit well with me, and I think that lingered for a while. Then I tried some other that were a little bit. They were mild. They were super mild. But I was still like, no, I'm gonna have the same sensation, so it's gonna be bad. I haven't tried anything else afterwards. I probably should try something else.
I'm still here, by the way. It's just my camera's gone. For most people, this doesn't matter. They don't even know.
I can picture you.
Just in your mind, close your eyes. Draw. Do you have a whiteboard? Draw on that.
Happy.
There it is. Okay, I'm back. Look at this. You just brought me back to life.
Oof.
Well, why are you saying woof? It sounds like you didn't want to.
No, it was a relief. It was a woof.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's too good. Yeah, I love roller coasters. I actually want to get back now. It's summer's hitting around again here. I remembered, by the way, what the insult was. So whenever anyone like, it's good because it's subtle. Whenever someone says like, I've got a few people online just say like suck my dick or whatever in a match, and the easy response back is no thank you, I'm not a pedophile.
Well,
because the implication is that they're a child, right? Only a child would make that statement, and I just love it. I don't know, because when they don't get it, it's even better. Just the question marks of like, what are you talking about? Is I've won.
The one I get a lot with, and I'm sure you do as well with RLCS analyst, is analyze these nuts.
Analyze that. These nuts, yeah.
Yeah, yep. You get that one a lot, and that one is like, I am not a microbiologist, so I leave it there. That's it. Some of them get it, some of them don't.
I think yours sums it up the best. I think I've done something similar of like, of just like, what if there was something to analyze or something a little less subtle. I like yours though because it's very subtle.
So the cool thing is about it is that not everyone that insults you that way is an asshole. Some people are just trying to find how you react to it, and then if you have a funny comment back, it's like, hey yo, high five, and keep going. Yeah. So I have that experiences as well, where some people it's like, I insult you. So, but I want to see how you react, and then when you react fine, it's like, hey, want to play back together, and we keep talking, and that's cool as well. I mean, I respect that. That's fine.
And sometimes it is actually just a kid that doesn't realize what they're saying isn't funny, right? And so, and if they're not going to get the joke, that's fine. But like it also, there's no reason to be mean back to them, you know, because like it's just to them it's funny and whatever. Their 14-year-old brain, we're not going to find the same things humorous for the most part. So yeah, there's no reason ever to be mean back. Try to be creative, unless you practice your improv as well. And I respect it. There have been times where someone has insulted me, and I'm like, oh shit, I got nothing to say. That was good. You're right. And I love it when that happens. It's just the issue is most people aren't creative. They just
exactly. If you're water saving the whole time and that's it, and then you're gonna say I suck, it's very general. So it's like I don't want to even engage because you're not giving me anything here. But when they're really good about it, it's like, hey, respect. I mean, that's funny, and you were able to take something out of what we're actually doing. So you're analyzing the whole situation, and you're coming up with something out of it. So it's like you did the work. Yeah, that's good.
I think interestingly enough, the one that actually gets people to stop, like just what a saving and like quick chat spamming, is just saying, hey, why are you being weird? Because you're not insulting them. You're just saying, hey, that's not normal behavior. And people usually just stop after. Like I would say a good 75% of the time, people stop. They just, why are you being weird? That's weird. Because it's not like, it's like a PG assault on what they're doing. I'm not saying shut up or what are you doing, just why are you being weird, man? What are you doing? No one else is doing this right now. And then they stop.
And I don't know why they keep doing it when you're losing like really bad and they keep what I say. It's like, dude, I mean, it's already done. It's just move on, and no one is actually saying anything back to you. You keep water saving. The chat might be off at this point and you keep water saving. Dude.
Yeah, no. Well, my camera is starting to give up on this chat right now, so I think this would be a good spot to end things off. Chamako, what's going forward? What is everything for you? What is your is there content that anyone could consume that you're doing? I know you're doing the wrestling stuff, and I know you got the collegiate stuff. Is there any other stuff that you're putting out there into the world that if I were listening to this and wanted to watch, could go watch?
Look, I was big on Twitch for a while. I was doing a lot of Twitch, and right now I'm doing more stuff with other people, like right here, right, the SWA. That's with Mr. Sazon PR. Sazon is SAZON. So I'm working with him quite a bit. I am doing, the collegiate stuff and high school stuff as well. That's not on my channel. So at some point,
what is the school? Do you broadcast it?
No, it's not for a specific school. It's for all schools in the.
Oh, okay.
So it's VESL, VESL, which is Varsity Esports and STEM League.
Okay.
They used to have a bigger STEM component into it as well, like asking questions about science and math and stuff,
right. Okay.
As well. So. But my Twitch will be back at some point. However, my Twitch is not esports related at all. It's me doing stupid things, and you're gonna see a nun over there, which is not family friendly at all.
You're saying nun?
Yes, NUN.
Okay, now I'm interested.
So had you known that before, you probably would have asked about it. But now, I mean, we can't talk about it because you have camera issues. So we're gonna, we gotta.
Yeah, okay. I'll leave it a mystery, right?
That's fine. But
make people want to find out themselves.
Right. But if you go over there to my channel, don't be thinking it's gonna be family friendly. It's not gonna be esports related. It's me doing my stupid shit, my non-funny. Act, because the thing is, my comedy is for myself. People don't realize that, but I want to make a reaction on you, and I want to see your reaction, and that's going to be funny for me. So
gotcha.
Not necessarily for everyone else. So if you enjoy that, I mean, you're going to be one of the few in the world. That's fine. But otherwise,
it's a good way to make unique content. That's how you make unique content. It's when you make the thing that you want to make. Right?
So
it's the right approach.
That's it. And eventually I want to do I got another Twitch channel, which is Chamako Esports, which that one is for the people that want to see me casting and do things for esports as well. Again, very, very low-key, not done yet. And I want to do some audiobooks with an accent, because I think that's going to be there's gonna be some weird people out there that want to hear an audiobook with an accent. So it's gonna be called just that on YouTube. It's audiobooks with an accent, and
audiobooks with an accent.
Yeah, I'm gonna be reading a few books over there. I gotta start that soon. I've been
do it, man.
Procrastinating that way too long. Also, hopefully it helps him with my English. I probably will have to be forced to actually use it more often. So
yeah, right, true.
It will get me a little bit better with it. But that's an idea that I have outside of everything else. That's like a unique project out there.
Hey, don't start 2 weeks from now. Start next week.
Okay.
Put it in your calendar right now. Put it in your calendar and say due date Monday.
Instead of spreading democracy throughout Super Earth and all the galaxies, I should be doing that. Yeah.
At least one. So there's a philosophy I have. It's not. I didn't come up with it, but I heard it from someone else a long time ago. I think it was on Reddit, and it was called the philosophy of one thing. Mm-hmm. Every day, do one thing. You want to do more push-ups? Get down and do one push-up right now. The hardest part is starting, and once you just do one's easy. Okay, one. When you're down there, you're probably going to do at least 5, maybe 7 or 10. But one, just think one. You want to do the audiobooks? Go in and read one page. One page. You don't have to spend too much time away from Super Earth. One page. But I bet you're going to go a couple more. So do one page this week.
True.
That's all you got to do.
Sounds good.
All right. Chamako,
we'll do it.
Thank you for joining me. I'm excited to see you on your audiobook. You're going to be super famous. I know it. I know it to be true. Remember us little people. And thank you so much for joining. It was awesome to chat with you. Hopefully we can do this in the future. I might have to join you on some democracy spreading soon.
Ooh, sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everyone at home, thank you so much for joining again. You know what to do. Hit the subscribe and follow buttons depending on the platform that you're on. If you are here, join the discussion in the chat on YouTube. And if you really want to, support the channel and support me so I can put more time into this rather than my Star Citizen content. Hit that join button to be able to get access to these videos earlier and just support me making this content. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.